Annabella, like your quiet thumb. Harvey, yes, here's Harvey. He was our character yesterday, and we learned a lot about Harvey, didn't we? We are focusing this week, Benjamin, on things like what our character likes, dislikes, our character's feelings. This is going to be our big one today. How does our character feel? And our character's thoughts. Today, we're really going to focus on our feelings. So that's why we have our Kimochis paper out, so that it can help us identify how Grace, our main character in the book, is feeling at different parts of the story. How many people think that people can only have one feeling at a time? How many think you can only have one feeling at a time? Jack, you think only one feeling at a time? Okay. How many other people think sometimes you can have more than one feeling at a time? Okay. Can somebody give me an example of why you think you can have more than one feeling? Go ahead, Benjamin.
Because sometimes, like, you're scared to do something, but you're excited to do it.
Oh, I love that example. Sometimes when you try something new, it's a little scary, right? But you're still really excited about it, right? So in a couple weeks, we're going to take my son skiing, and I have a feeling he's going to be a little bit scared because he's never done this before, but I also think he's going to be really excited about it. So maybe we can have more than one feeling at a time. Annabella?
I'm a sad man because sometimes I feel sad and I'm mad.
Oh, sad and mad at the same time. Okay. So, as we read Amazing Grace, there are going to be times in the story where we stop, and I ask you to think about our character, Grace, and the feelings that she's having. And your Kimochi's paper is going to be helpful because we have lots of different feelings that we can pick from. And you might choose a feeling that's different from someone else in the class, and that's okay. All right, I'm looking for my listeners, my learners, eyes watching, ears listening. The name of our text today is called Amazing Grace, and it's by Mary Hoffman and illustrated by Caroline Fitch. And we can see Amazing Grace right here. When you look at this illustration, can you identify a feeling? Can you point to a feeling on your Kimochi's page when you look at that illustration? Era, like your quiet hand.
Happy.
How many people chose happy? Oh, I see a lot of hands up for happy. So she looks happy. Did you use her facial expression? And what was she doing that made you think she might be happy?
She was smiling.
She's smiling. She's got a smile on her face. And that's a good sign that somebody might be feeling happy. Annabella?
Also, I noticed that she has two missing teeth.
She does have two missing teeth. Do you think that helps her or helps us identify her feelings? That she has two missing teeth?
Because I think she already lost one, but then she lost the other one.
Oh, I see. So you're thinking maybe she just lost her teeth or tooth and that's what's making her happy. Okay. Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace.
Oh.
Grace was a girl who loved stories. She didn't mind if they were read to her or told to her or made up in her own head. She didn't care if they were in books or movies or out of Nana's long memory. Grace just loved stories. After she had heard them, and sometimes while they were still going on, Grace would act them out, and she always gave herself the most exciting parts. So let's take a minute and look at our characters chart. Did you hear anything about Grace's likes? Do we know something that Grace likes? Lila.
Stories.
She likes stories, yes. Did you hear something else that she likes? Jack?
She acts, when people tell her the story, she gets dolls and acts them out.
Oh, I like that you heard that in the text. It even said that Grace would act them out. Now let's take a look at our illustration, because we know that illustrations and people's facial expressions can really help you identify feelings. Look at Grace's face in this illustration. And see if you can find a Kimochi on your page that tells how she might be feeling. You see a feeling that Grace might be feeling? Okay. All right, Zaire, what did you choose? You chose Zaire chose happy again. Benjamin?
I chose curious.
Say that again.
Curious.
Curious. Oh, I love that. She does look curious, like she's really interested in what her grandmother is saying. Joshua?
Focus.
Focus. I love that Josh thought of one that's not on our Kimochis page. So sometimes we have feelings that are not labeled on this paper. There's lots of feelings, and he just said that she looks really focused.
I think she looks. I think she is kind of being silly at the time because maybe one of the stories was silly because in one of the illustrations she looks like she's doing something funny.
So were you looking at a different illustration over here, Grayson, and not that one? Okay, all right. So let's keep reading. So far we know that right now she looks pretty happy and focused and curious, and we know she loves stories and acting them out. Grace went into battle as Joan of Arc and wove a wicked web as Anansi the spider. Oh, in the illustration we can really see how she likes to act things out. She hid inside the wooden horse at the gates of Troy. She went exploring for lost kingdoms. She sailed the 7 seas with a peg leg and a parrot. Okay, so Grace takes on lots of different roles or parts when she acts out different stories. She was Hiawatha, sitting by the shining Big Sea water, and Mowgli in the backyard jungle. Most of all, Grace loved to act out adventure stories and fairy tales. When there was no one else around, Grace played all the parts herself. She set out to seek her fortune with no companion but her trusty cat, and found a city with streets paved in gold. Or she was Aladdin, rubbing his magic lamp to make the genie appear. When Grace is doing all of these things that she loves to do, like listening to stories and acting things out, what feeling do you think she might feel? It can be from your mind or it can be from your paper. Grayson, what do you think? When she's doing the things she loves.
I think she's feeling kind of happy and excited.
Happy and excited at the same time. Okay, Jax, what are you thinking?
Happy.
Okay, you're agreeing with happy. Does anyone have a different feeling word that we haven't said yet? Me? Do you have any feeling words to share? When Grace is doing the things that she really loves. Scarlett?
I think she's feeling.
Jax, did you have one to share?
Like, you know how, they're brave, she might be feeling brave.
She might be feeling brave.
And I think I know how she's getting her cat to, put, you see from her group, there's a cat tour.
Oh yes, I see that you're looking at the details in the illustration.
Um,
Sometimes she could get Ma and Nana to join in when they weren't too busy. Then she was Dr. Grace, and their lives were in her hands. One day, Grace's teacher said they would do the play Peter Pan. Grace knew who she wanted to be.
Peter.
When she raised her hand, Raj said, "You can't be Peter. That's a boy's name. But Grace kept her hand up. Something just happened that may have changed her feelings. So she's been all happy and excited, but then this student in her class said, "You can't be Peter. That's a boy's name." Let's point to our Kimochi page. Look at your Kimochi page and see if you can find, do you think her feeling could have changed? What are you pointing to, Neve?
Sad.
You think she's sad now? Nara's agreeing with that. Did anybody pick a different feeling word besides sad? Yana?
Disappointed.
Disappointed. Boy, that's a strong feeling. Why would she be disappointed?
Because when someone says you can't do it, that's just losing your trust of her.
Oh, wow. So when someone says you can't do something, she kind of is losing that trust. Yes, Grayson.
I have a bunch of them.
Can you tell me one or two?
Surprised and hurt.
Surprised. So she can't believe you would say that. And hurt. Hurt like when you get a cut or a scratch, that type of hurt?
No.
No. So what type of hurt do you think she might be feeling?
The feelings are hurt.
Feelings are hurt. Because of what someone said, her feelings are hurt. Benjamin?
Also uncomfortable maybe.
Uncomfortable. Boy, that's a strong feeling word too, isn't it? You might be uncomfortable when somebody tells you that you can't do something because your name isn't a boy's name. Scarlett.
Left out.
Left out. Ooh, that's a strong feeling too. So I noticed that a lot of people picked a lot of different feelings this time. I heard sad, surprised, hurt, left out, uncomfortable, disappointed. She could be feeling all of those feelings. That's a lot to handle, isn't it, when you have all of those feelings? I did notice that the text said, but Grace kept her hand up. So when the boy said that, she had her hand up, did she go like that?
No.
Can you take a peek at Kelso's wheel and see if you know what strategy she might be using to handle what this boy said to her? Because it said Grace kept her hand up. Why? What do you think? You think she chose ignore it? How many people were pointing to ignore it? Do you think that strategy could be helpful? To just ignore what the person is saying to you in this situation. A lot of people are pointing to ignore it. Let's keep reading. Let's see what happens next. You can't be Peter Pan, whispered Natalie. He isn't black. But Grace kept her hand up. All right, said the teacher. Lots of you want to be Peter Pan, so we'll have auditions next week to choose parts. She gave them words to learn. Wait, what did the next student say? What did Natalie say? Can you find what Natalie said in the text? Era?
You can't be Peter Pan because he's not black.
What do you think about what Natalie said? This time, I want you to turn and talk to your partner. Talk to your partner about how that would make Grace feel, and what do you think about what Natalie said to Grace? So you're gonna make your movement really fast. Make your partner's absent. Turn to what? Turn to Joshua.
Oh my God.
What else can she spelled this time.
I think
And now
Grace
those
spelled
are
it differently.
Please tell Era. Tell Era what you got. Era, can you share a feeling with Kristen? Thank you, Selena. I like how you turned back to the front and stopped talking to your partner. Does somebody have something they talked about with their partner that they'd like to share? Preston, you think she's sad? Surprise. Hi. Disappointed. Annabella,
I think she ignored it again.
you think she ignored it again? It looks like she ignored it again because it says she kept her hand up, right? So let's now take a quick peek at Kelsey's wheel if she's having trouble ignoring it. Let's say, Kai, that ignoring it isn't really helping her feelings. Is there another strategy from Kelsey's wheel that she could try? If ignoring it isn't really helping her, is there something else that Grace could do? Sarah, what do you think?
Tell them to stop.
Tell them to stop. So can you be Grace, Era? Oh, I see a lot of agrees. What would you, can you be Grace for a moment and tell Natalie, what would you say?
Can you please stop that?
Can you please stop that? Could you maybe identify your feeling? Can you please stop that? That makes me feel
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Can you please stop that? That makes me feel uncomfortable. I love that. Who else can tell me another strategy? Scarlett.
Please excuse this interruption.